Hey guys, so far you've been working on chapter 7, which is about bivariate data. We're going to focus on 7D today, but the sort of stuff that you should know already are about scatter plots. So here's a few examples just here. So you may have drawn a few of those so far, but you should also know about independent and dependent variables. So hopefully we remember that the independent variable would go down the bottom on the x-axis, and the independent variable might go up here. So there are a couple of the important things that you should know so far, and there's a few more things as well, but today we're going to be focusing on 7D, which is Pearson's correlation coefficient, which is represented by just the letter R. Okay, so you're basically going to be, in today's exercise, interpreting what different values of R actually mean. So if we look at a couple of dot points that I've got up the top here, the R value measures the strength and direction of any linear relationship. Okay, and then the next other important thing is that if the dots seem to be sloping up, that would be a positive relationship, but if they're sloping down, that would be a negative relationship. So let's just look at these three examples just here. With this scatter plot, it looks like all the dots are just randomly put anywhere. I can't really see too much of a relationship between them. So what I've written down the bottom here is that there's no relationship. But if we look at this next one here, can you see how it's pretty loose, but these dots sort of form a bit of a line that's going upwards like that. It has an upward slope. Now, it's not a perfect relationship because they are spread out a fair bit. So I'd probably say this relationship here is a moderate positive relationship. Positive because it's sloping upwards. Now, if we move over to this third example, hopefully you can see that these dots here in the scatter plot, they're way tighter together. And we can see that it looks like they're pretty tight and they're sloping downwards like that. So we could describe this relationship as a strong negative relationship. Now, you might be wondering, yeah, but what's that got to do with R value? We can find out what the R value is, and that tells us what sort of relationship the two variables have to each other. Now, we're not going to be finding out what the R value is for ourselves just yet. That's what we're going to do next lesson. We're more so just interpreting what different R values mean. Okay, so again, yeah, each relationship or scatter plot will have a certain R value which we can find using our CAS, as I said just before. I'm going to go down a little bit here. This table is going to be super important, super helpful for you guys because it gives you a really good guide as to how we can actually describe the relationship between the two variables that we're given for any scatter plot or set of data as well. So the R values that you might work out, they're going to be between -1 all the way up to 1. And sort of in different intervals, they mean different things. So we might have strong relationships, we might have moderate relationships, we could have weak relationships, or there could be no association together either. So remember, if the R value ends up being positive, so like these ones here, it would be a positive relationship, and if it's negative, like these ones here, there'd be a negative relationship. Now again, the main thing we need to do in this exercise is just interpret what different R values actually mean. Okay, so you're going to keep coming back to this table because it's pretty much going to answer all the questions for you. Now, the sort of thing that you're going to find in the exercise, most of the questions are like this. So, for example, interpret the linear relationship between two variables if they have an R value of 0.55. All you really need to do is have a look at this table here. Okay, so I want to find the interval that 0.55 is in. So 0.55 is between 0.5 and 0.74. So that would mean we have a moderate positive linear association. So let me write that answer down. And that's really all we need to do for that. We've interpreted it. All right, so let me move on to the next little bit. All right, so we're going to find out a heap of different R values and we're going to interpret them. But we need to realize that just because an R value shows a high correlation, I'm reading from here, doesn't mean that one variable definitely impacts the other one. Now there's three things that might result in inaccurately showing a strong correlation, which are written down here. Now I don't want to spend too long looking at these ones, so I'm not going to explain them right now. I might explain them a little bit later on. For now, what I want you guys to do is have a look at the lesson plan that I've given you. I've put down the questions that I want you to have a go at, which are from your work schedule. Okay, so have a go at those ones and upload what you've managed to do in the lesson onto our Google Classroom. I would have already shown you where to put that one. Okay, thanks guys.